This is Bob Spencer, and I'm at the Hayes Senior Citizen Center in North Little Rock, and this is where I'm having my final art show of my time on this earth. And I'm doing this show because I know my years are drawing to a close, and I wanted people to see what I was able to do as an artist over the years. You're looking at my Batman collection up here, and I'll walk a little closer, and there's bunches of pictures of Batman here because it's one of my favorite subjects, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4 showing right here, and you can open up the big picture because there's 2 more pictures inside of that. The picture to the right, and I have to watch it's hard to get a good picture of this. There's so much light shining in this building. I'm going to see if I can get a little bit better angle on it there for you there. That picture on the top is some cubism that I did, and the one on the bottom is Genevieve, and she's sort of in the cubism thing in some ways not. The next picture down is a picture I took of a bottle of Turkish wine. It was an ad I found that I was looking at, and I was quite enamored with the colors in it, so I did it. The next picture over here is a nude, and I sort of did this in a rather bizarre style, and I almost threw this picture away because I didn't like the way it was turning out, but I put it down for a couple of weeks. I went back and painted some more, and lo and behold, it turned pretty good. So here it is. This is the modern girl in this picture down here, and we're not too bad in light. You can see it, and you can see what I did with this thing. This is in a 16 by 20 frame, and it's acrylic on paper, and it really turned out well. I like it. This is the last picture I did just before the show, and it definitely is an example of cubism, and I'm sort of in love with that genre right now, and I move around from time to time and do different things, but I really like this painting, and I hope you all do also. This picture here is from Lido Beach in Sarasota, Florida. In the 1960s, and this is around 1965, I dated this girl named Jeannie. I was madly in love with her, but she just didn't have time for me, but I still remember her after all these years, and I put her in this picture because I wanted to. The next one down here is a picture of some of the World War II women that flew aircraft from the factories to the Army bases around the United States. And it wasn't until later years that they got their presidential recognition that they truly deserved. The next picture is the boat girl. Get my camera lined up a little bit back here where you can get the entire scene in. And that was a fun picture to do. And I put some pterodactyls up in the sky, and there's a little dog on the dock up there. So, and then I got some shadows of dolphins underneath the boat. Fun picture to do. This next picture is a bit of a paradox, because the bass player, if you notice, has awful small hands. And why does he have small hands? Because he lives in that bottle up there, and if his hands were any larger, we wouldn't have been able to get him out. So I made the hands come out like that. And it's a rather intriguing picture, and it's a fun picture, and I like to do those once in a while. This next one is, let's see if I can get the right angles on it, is Madeline. And this is an acrylic on paper, and I did this rather quickly, but it turned out well. The next picture is one that I gave the original to a nurse practitioner. I'm trying to get the thing where it's not glaring so bad, but I think I'm going to fail in this one. But anyway, it's a nice picture, and gave her that. This other picture down here is something, I've had the original at home, which is rather large, and I made these photocopies of this thing, and I've sold it 2 other times, so it's been a real popular picture. This next one is King Kong, and notice I got the gorilla up here, and when I did this picture, it looked kind of sterile because the girl had her hands out there, but I wasn't sure what she was looking at, so I put in King Kong, and I put the airplane that was trying to shoot him out of the sky. Another fun portrait. These next 2 are nudes. This first one's of Aphrodite. A little bit of nudity in here, but nothing's going to scare you to death. And I had fun doing it. I did it twice, as a matter of fact, because I didn't like the background. So I cut out Aphrodite, and I made it a whole new background, and that's what I got. This next one I cut out of a magazine, old German magazine that was 100 years old. And I went in and I made my duplicate, and there's nothing really wrong other than showing a little bit of her butt, and that's it. This next one of the band, I was a musician at one time in my life. Maybe not the best, but certainly not the worst. So I try and paint stuff occasionally that recognizes my years in the band. This picture down here I did very quickly and I was rather pleased with the result of this thing. And actually, the picture up there, just like it, is except in reduced format, and I put it in my computer to get another view of it. This is another comedy picture. I'm still looking for that elusive, I'll probably do it the best this way. There is a question about this picture, and my question is, which I've never had a satisfactory answer, what did the cow do after it jumped over the moon? Where did it go? And this lady, she works in this riverboat down here, and that's a whole another story. This one here is, I like this picture. This was a fun picture to do. This is Eco Woman, and her feet are actually below the water, and they're the roots, and she stays there and she grows. She has a robin to keep her company, and she has some swans, got the sun, so it's a fun picture. And this last picture over here is Cynthia on the rocks. And I did this picture, rather pleased with the results. Took a lot of time doing those stripes. It was hard to keep everything lined up like it should be, and I had a lot of colors in this picture. I'm going to walk up this line, and I'm going to go to the other side of the gallery, and you'll see what else I've done, so just don't get too concerned. Doing these pictures, it depends what it takes to complete the picture. Some pictures I do very quickly. Some pictures I've worked on a couple of weeks on and off during the day. Now we're just about to the other side over here. And this is a smaller Batman picture. And this is one about how his men have limits. This next picture, the original, went to my daughter-in-law in Florida. And then I had this frame, and I made a photograph of it, of the picture, and I put that in here. It's a rather nice picture. This picture I painted earlier this year. It's Diamond Woman, and it's on acrylic on paper, as is the one lower is acrylic on paper, so that's two more of my efforts. This particular picture here, I started to throw this away once, and I let it set a while to see, man, surely I don't have to do that. And I was able to come up with this rendition, which worked fine for me. This picture up here, my granddaughter painted this when she was probably in her early 20s. And I always liked that picture, so this is a photocopy of the original, and I brought it to the show. This was one of my favorite pictures I did in 2023. It turned out really, really well, and I'm happy with this thing. So it's the Camouflage Girl. I'm going to move over here. I got to get the other side of some tables here. And this is a picture of the Blue Note Cafe in New York. If you've ever been there, it's world famous for jazz and blues stars. Another jazz-oriented picture. This is a photograph of a picture I did by merging 3 different pictures into the thing, and I got this result of this thing and had it framed with a museum called the glass. It turned out real well. This is a smaller version of a picture I showed you earlier. This is the photographic rendition of the picture. And the bottom one is a Harley Davidson picture, which the original my daughter received. And I took this photograph, and I've sold this before. And it's a nice picture if you're a biker fan. This picture turned out rather well. It's different. You notice this girl has awfully long legs. And this is the way this particular artist did this originally, and I made some modifications to her dress to suit my needs. This picture down here, I have the original at home, and this is just a smaller photographic version. And it makes a pretty nice picture. And I did a little bit of shading in the photograph to get a little bit different results. This particular picture is a vampire. She's going to meet this gentleman in this fabulous house that he has, and either one knew that the other was a vampire until there was a bite on the neck, and then it was discovered, and they consequently ended up being 2 vampires together. This picture is a nice picture. I had fun painting. I like this particular picture. I sold the original to a friend that works here in the Hayes Center, and it was a fun picture to do. Moving over here was the Zeppelin picture, which was really a nice picture. It's a good-sized picture. Now, the Zeppelin itself, I had trouble painting it the first time, and I had to go back, and I had cut out and made it another Zeppelin and pasted it over the other one because it was so bad. And then I ended up, I had a pretty good picture. This one still is in the Batman theme, and I painted this picture and had it done, and I looked at the right-hand side, and it looked rather blank, so I put the bat signal in there, and it's got the car, the train, and the plane are all Batman related. This was another fun picture to do. This is a small picture. I have a large picture at home of the tango. And I even had a website you could go to watch someone doing the real tango. This picture I did several years ago. It's in the possession of my son-in-law, and it is a BMW from 1938. It was a one-off car, and I did this photographic rendition. It's just a fun picture. I did this Auburn picture when I first got back into art again. The top part of the picture is all watercolor. The bottom part is acrylic. I had to go back and paint the car over again because it had faded. This is one of two pictures I did for a friend of mine in Ohio. This is being Miss Budweiser. I got the two dolphins in the water tracking the boat, and it was a fun picture to do, I will tell you that. This picture is of an Alfa Romeo at Monaco in 1938, and it's a fun picture also. And I put the boats out there and all sorts of little things. Had a lot of color in this picture, and it's one of my favorites. And it is also sold. This is a small picture of a Monaco, and this is the large picture of the Monaco car. And I sold a previous version to a friend of mine, and he decided to buy this original, so that picture has been sold also. This is sort of my little Bad Bob's Faux art picture that I made up to advertise my show here at the Hayes Center, so it works pretty good. This last picture of the show is one I did 60 years ago. And this is an original that I have taken all across the United States, up and down, south, north, and I always had it with me because I enjoyed doing this picture. I says, why not just make a frame for it? And I had it custom framed, and it looks really good. And this, folks, is the end of my show. Let's see here. What else do I want to show you? I'll give you a shot down the hall, if the thing will come back into focus here. There you go. And this is the Hayes Center, located in North Little Rock, Arkansas. So I hope you enjoyed this little video.